thinking of the days gone by, wishing that you're still here with me, baby. I was wrong, and now you're gone. Please hear this heart of mine. Hear me calling. Whenever you're around me, I feel different in your arms. With the way you touch me, the love the last time that your that it's you and me all this time. Seeing these tears that keep falling from my eyes, wishing that I never let you go, my baby. Take this heart, fill me with your love. Please hear these words of mine. Hear me calling. Whenever you're around.
Okay, we're going now.
I feel different in your arms. With the way you touch me. The last time I tried your love so true. And I never knew that it's you and me all the time.
So guess what it is today, guys? It is Dating 101 with Marlene and Michelle. And we are so excited to have in our audience, not our audience, sorry. I love that song. I want to turn it down though because I know it's time. Let's see if I can get it to go down just a little bit. And then we're going to let it continue playing in the background because y'all know I'm a music girl, right? And I'm so happy to have in our studio today, you know, God is so good because we can do virtually anything. If you believe me today and you are watching, tell me, yes, Marlene, I think we can do virtually anything. I really believe that we can. I really do, and so I do, Craig, I really do. I believe I can virtually be married. I can't. Sure. I'm just Marlene. I'm crazy. I'm the fun girl. I'm the fun girl. I'm the one that talk all the crazy stuff. I'm the one that do all the dancing. I'm the one that wear the wild glasses. I'm looking for some right now so I can come on with my wild glasses. Michelle, someone asked me yesterday, are they glasses you're wearing or are they shades? Let me see if I can find them. I was like, excuse me, I'm so insulted. I said, they're my glasses.
I guess they want to hear
my bag over there so I can get one of my wild glasses so we can put on. But we're so happy. It's already we are seeing so many people coming on the platform. And we just welcome it's Dating 101, and we are so happy to have you joining us today from wherever you are in the world. Will you just let us know where you are joining us from today? And we want to hear from you. Michelle, go ahead and welcome the guests and also those who may be watching.
Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have an exciting show. We have two lovely guests that Marlene will be introducing, or they're going to introduce themselves. Alexia from UK, Miss Alexia, welcome, and Craig from New York. Thank you so much both for joining us. I was just warming up with them, getting to meet them. They are lovely people, and we are in for a beautiful time with them. Please share the live, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And please leave a comment below if you have questions for Alexia and Craig. Please leave your questions below. And we'll be starting to ask the questions soon. Marlene?
Yeah, we are. I'm just checking my Facebook page to see where we are in terms of, making sure that I have every page set up. And of course, we want you to share this live. When we first started this program, this dating thing, this relationship platform, I think it came from a place of, where do you think it came from, Michelle? For me, I think it came from being divorced, wanting to know if there's hope after divorce, and especially hope after 50.
Yeah.
So there are so many. Hi, Miss Joan from New York, and hi, Miss Michelle. How you guys doing from Nassau? We got people already saying hi, guys. Hi, guys. Hi, all the way in Rwanda, Africa. Happy to have you. And so, so this really gives us an opportunity to see, what are men looking for? What is a woman looking for? And if we could come together and find out, I think it will help us to really find the right person for us. That God would lead that person to you first of all, and then, because sometimes men, men are hard. They're tough. I don't know that our guest
Craig is here. He's agreeing. Craig is agreeing.
Tough, and I'm like, it's hard. They're hard. It's hard. I don't know.
I think it's more they're different. They're different, and I believe God made female and male different. And sometimes what we believe, how men are thinking, are not the way they're thinking. We're wrong. We're wrong. We are completely wrong.
That says yes, virtually you can do everything, but I'm not about the marriage, Marlene. I think I can. Why not? I can do virtually anything. I'm just teasing. No, I'm a touch hands-on person, so no, that will not work. I don't like long distance anything. Not even long distance calls. Hello? But good evening, Lisa. Good evening, Beth. Thank you guys for joining us today. And of course, we need to see those likes, those loves. We need them because guess what? When you do that, the algorithm goes crazy. It gets excited, just like we get excited when we meet the first person for the first time. So it's the same thing. That love affair, we need that to be going on right now. We see those love hearts and the likes and everything just going up, and then you share. So I'm going to give you a moment to share while we're finding about our guests. We're going to let them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about themselves. And then while they're doing that, listen still, but just press that subscribe, like, share, and comment button. Will you do that for me? Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love you all. So we need you to do that for us. So so we're going to start with the beautiful lady, all the way from London, England. What time is it there?
11:15.
Oh, wow.
At night. Yes.
What? You keep it late hours, young lady. Hello.
Well, anything for my sister. Anything for you, my love.
That's what I love you so much, girl. Thank you so much. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Alexia. We love you. Your hair is beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll start with my age. I'm 44 years of age. Very happy. I'm proud to say I'm a middle-aged woman. I'm a single mother of two lovely young ladies. I work with children and families in the UK. I've been doing that for almost 25 years. So that keeps me pretty busy. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. And I tend to take most things from a biblical standpoint. So you'll get a lot of that from me tonight. And I'm quite jovial and jokey and funny. So that is me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Nice. Beautiful. What about our lovely young man next door to you, the handsome Craig? Tell us about yourself, Craig.
Hello, everyone. My name's Craig. I'm 47. And
I didn't get that.
for you.
Come on, Craig, man. I just put myself out there. How old are you?
Okay. I'll let you do that. I'm just gonna stay real quiet.
No.
Nothing.
We were talking a lot just now, Craig. So
I know. I'm a troublemaker sometimes, or all the time. But yeah, I'm 47 years old, and I've lived in New York for most of my life. Came here from Jamaica when I was quite young.
Nice.
So if you're wondering about my accent, I tell everyone I've left it on the boat. And yeah, I don't do any altruistic work like my esteemed colleague, but I work in IT. I'm somewhat of a computer nerd, super logical, sometimes to a fault. But yeah.
Oh, thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna start with Alexia. So you're single, so you are eventually, you're on this platform, and tell us about your ideal husband, his characteristic. What would because I know that God has someone for you, but what is your ideal? What is your ideal? Tell us about, describe that.
Well, Michelle, if I'm really honest, I abandoned the idea of an ideal maybe a couple of years ago. And that was primarily because I personally used to do singles ministry maybe about 7-8 years ago. And when I was doing singles ministry, I had a list, as most women have a list. And I have found during the course of over the years, especially as I've gotten into my 40s, that is a list for me is no longer required. I think if there are basic fundamental things that a man would need to have, and as long as he has those things in place, I'm good. At the stage of my life, I'm good. So for me, primarily, he would have to be obviously a man of God. It'd have to definitely be a Christian. We obviously know what my denomination is, so I've made that quite clear. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so he would have to be an Adventist. For me, emotional security. He'd have to know himself, and he'd have to be willing to share his vulnerabilities, the mistakes that he's made in his life and how he's overcome those, and how he's able to make me feel emotionally secure, and I can do the same for him. He would obviously have to be financially stable for himself. And therefore, if he's got that in place for himself, that means he's able to have a wife and obviously an extended family of my children. And he shouldn't, a criminal record I can deal with, depending on what kind of criminal activities he's been involved in, as long as he has surrendered himself to Christ and he's working through whatever issues. I understand that people come with baggage and issues and trauma, but my thing is you've got to be able to communicate and be open about those things. If you've got all those things in check, I've put aside race, I've put aside age, I've put aside locality, because to me, God can do wonders. So that's where I'm at. So I don't have a list and I don't have an idea.
Beautiful, beautiful. Craig, I'll ask you the same question. For a female, what would be your ideal that you would be looking to spend the rest of your life with? And yes.
Yeah, well, now I feel a little bad because
Why?
I might have had a list. Now I can't bring it up now.
Just bring up your list, man. Bring up your list, Craig.
I'm gonna put it away. No. For me, the list is more what I don't want as opposed to what I do want. My do not want list is a lot shorter. And there's so much more that I may not know that I want that I can't necessarily quantify that, on a list. Someone who is unkind, someone who is untidy, someone who is uncaring is not what I want. Someone who is overly negative is not what I want. So, it's easier for me to come up with the list of what I don't want rather than what I do want, because it's just shorter, and I can work with shorter lists.
Thank you so much for that, because after I speak to men, I find they go more for character traits, and they don't necessarily go for accomplishments or your degree, your status as a female. They go more for exactly those same and some after talking to men. So that is I'm seeing a pattern there, and women might not know that.
Yeah, and I think too, expressing yourself is important.
Yes.
I don't want someone who is just going to say, "Oh, whatever you want." That doesn't appeal to me. That does nothing for me. Because if I ask a question, if I ask a thought, if I want an opinion, if I want something, I have my own opinion. But if I ask you for yours,
Yes.
then my expectation is that you give it to me,
Mm.
even if it doesn't agree with mine, because then it allows me to think outside myself. And a lot of people think just in such a small space that, you know, whatever decision they make is so short-sighted because they don't get insights or ideas from other people, and especially when you're dating or in a relationship, from your partner. It's just like you can't operate in that small space, and you have to allow for individualism and life experiences that each person has, because
Love
then that actually means something together. Now you're learning, she's learning, and then you can kind of say, okay, with this knowledge that we have together, what can we do next?
Oh wow.
And kind of go from there.
Yes, I love that. Love that because
Mhm.
some men want that woman to just shut up and don't have an opinion. Just
Mm.
what I say. And
Yeah,
that's
See,
it.
no,
that don't work.
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, but that's
Any
all.
man that wants that is looking for a robot. He's not looking for a wife. He's looking for someone he can control. We're not. We don't want to be controlled. We're individuals too. I've met men like that. You know, you can't control me. I'm sorry. I mean, come on, think about it. What is he really looking for? Think of what you're saying. What is that man really looking for? What do you think, Greg? What would that man be looking for ideally?
I don't know.
He sounds like he wants somebody he can control.
I
Don't
think
you
he'll be
agree,
looking
Alexia?
and looking and looking and looking and looking and looking.
He's just looking
You
until he
know,
finds
yeah.
that perfect. Until he finds that perfect robot who says yes sir, no sir. Yes,
Remember,
I hear they build those.
also, if you think about the word submission as Christians, some people can interpret that the woman who speaks their opinion is not submissive. And it could end up ruining the relationship because they're like, I can't deal with a woman who has her own opinion, in a sense. That's what I'm trying to bring out. So there is, I like your side. You said you want a woman who has a mind of her own, who thinks for herself, and she's able to bring to the table her views, and you can discuss, and it can help build the relationship. So thank you for that. Alexia, you
You're
did
not
say,
perfect, amen. I'm just going to the Facebook page, Michelle. There are lots of comments. Give me a moment.
before I go, okay, yeah, there's some
Let me go over there. Hi, Ravel. Hi, Ravi. How are you today? She says communication is so important. She says, "Speak, Marlena." I know what I was saying just now because y'all know this sister got ADHD really bad. But she says we are not perfect. We are not perfect. There were lots of comments there. Oh goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot in the air over here, Marlene.
Yeah. Okay, I'm coming. Yeah. Thank you for watching from Australia. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Maysoon from Australia. Thank you. Love the discussion. Thank you. Please share the live for us with your family and friends. Let me see if anything there. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, I think it's really important that we can. Communication is very important. Hey, do you have questions for our audience, our guests today? I keep calling you guys the audience. If you're watching from anywhere and you're enjoying our conversation with Alexia and Craig, we are talking today about relationships, looking for the ideal man, the ideal woman, sharing some of what we're looking for as a man and as a female, you know. I think that's basically what the show is about today. And then, of course, doing it from, I guess, a Christian perspective, but just being real. We just want you to be real and be authentic. I think the audience loves it when we are authentic, and they, you know, I can identify with that, you know. So, like Ravel says, we're not perfect. We're just not. Go on to the next question, Michelle.
So, Alexia, you said that there's no specific date range. However, how low and how high? Because would you be willing to marry a man 30, 40 years older, or you know what I mean? So they got still date range. I'm just saying, she said there was no date range. So I wanted her to clarify that and say, okay, 10 years younger or whatever, older, you know, and why, you know?
I think it's all about mindset. So you can meet someone who is solid, grounded, and they could be a few years younger than me. I definitely probably wouldn't want to date someone close to my sister's age. My sister is 7 years younger than me.
Okay.
So, and then I maybe would go up. So maybe I would even marry someone in their 60s, both of my daughters, my eldest daughter said to me, Mum, I think someone in their 60s would be quite good for a woman with your kind of temperament. And I was like, you want me to marry a pensioner?
Okay, hold
And she
on.
was
So
like,
look
yeah,
at-
no. And my daughter's like in her 20s. And she's like, no, I think that could work for you. So I was like, and actually, on reflection, I think she's quite correct. It's obviously someone who's got to be living a similar lifestyle to mine. I'm very active. I take care of my body. I eat well. So we'd have to be in sync and in harmony in that kind of particular way. If he was much older than me, so up to 20 years older than me, I could kind of work with that because it's about stability as well. Whereas if it's a younger guy,
yeah,
and he's kind of got his life
Together.
on some sort of positive direction, I could work with that also.
Okay.
Sounds good. Lovely. Thank you
Beautiful.
for the clarification. Craig, can you answer that question too as well? What would be the age range that you would be open to?
I find, like, just throughout my whole dating life, if you will, that women who are extremely young don't appeal to me because I just don't want that extra energy, if you will, that sometimes comes along with that. I'm about reasoning things out and doing things that make sense. As I mentioned, sometimes to a fault, but I own that, and I've tried to be more empathetic and understanding to others who don't operate within that space.
So hold on, my audience is asking a question based on what you just said. You said the person must be how much older or how much younger?
I didn't give a range, but not very young. It's
Not
not
too young.
yeah.
Not too young.
Once maturity.
So someone that's
tried-
mostly in your set. That's what they're asking. Is somebody mostly in your set?
Plus or minus, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I
But you
would
don't want the young
tend-
drama. That's it.
No.
Maturity.
I don't want, someone's gonna see my car because we had a falling out and then break all my windows.
Oh, okay.
That's a different move.
That's
That's,
right.
that level of immaturity is not what is what I'm looking for. I like maturity. Generally, I would date older. I'm not opposed to that. And how much older? I mean, within reason. It doesn't matter very much for me, but then there's a level of comfort that you lose as you move around, and you have to be prepared to deal with that.
Yeah.
So if you're dating someone, a lot older than you, then you will experience stares, and you have to be okay with that. Because that's a reality. It's not, not everybody sees what you see in the other person. You may not be looking at the age that your partner has, but other people do, because people are people. And being able to handle that is the level of maturity that you need to have, that I need to have if I'm going to go in that particular direction. So I mean, it's not, I don't necessarily limit myself, as I mentioned before, but I definitely don't have space in my life for someone who is overly energetic in a non-upbuilding way.
So you're about business, building, maturity, and you don't want all that drama. You don't want that emotional instability that would come with a younger person if they're not mature. I see where you're going. And also remember, if the woman is older, sometimes your own family members are going to say, what are you doing with that old woman?
Yeah. But then
True, but again, you have to be ready to deal with that.
You got to be mature to deal with it.
You have to be ready to handle that.
You got to be ready.
But then she may not even look her age. She may not even look her age. She may carry herself so well or age so gracefully that she may actually look just as sad as you are. But then you have to be strong enough. You do, because they are going to question you about that. But we have some.
And then the beauty being in the eye of the beholder, you have to build in other people the appreciation that you have and the beauty that you see in the person that you're with.
I love it.
So I love your maturity because you're answering it in a mature way that it doesn't matter basically what you think of her. I see something special in her, and this is, if you love me, you're going to accept my choice.
Mhm.
And I love
And
that. That's
and you build in them. You build as much as you can with
yes,
people who may have a different idea
yes,
about it. You
love
know,
it.
say, well, listen, you know what? Here's some of the beautiful characteristics that she has that really appeals.
Yes, yes. You'll educate them, and I like that. That's good.
Can we take some of these comments because I have my page is like the comments are running ahead of me and then I'm losing them. But someone says, "Hey, very interesting." Go back to the comment. Hi, Alex Brown. How are you? Great to see you. Please give your mom my love. He says many men want someone who speaks their mind, have their own opinions, but be able to show respect and be able to communicate and not hold judgment and be able to accept constructive criticism.
Love
Is that
it.
what you're looking for? Powerful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on. He goes, someone else, hold on, says, lone, what? Hold on, sorry. Whatever.
Lone Pigsy and Cobb.
Okay, he says, I need a woman, it's a man. I need a woman about twice my height. Okay. That means that you're really short. Okay. Twice my height. Get out of here. Hold on. Let's read it. I need a woman about twice my height. Statues?
Yes.
Raven stressed. A
Okay.
goddess of the night. A secret incantation. Candle
Wow.
in blue. Real consultant. Jesus Christ.
Mercy,
Maybe they'll know
Jesus.
what to do. I think that's just some.
Listen, when you hear people like that have lyrics, they don't have it.
Okay, hold on. There's some more comments.
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Is physical appearance important and not old enough to be your mom?" LOL. Chantel Hughes from Bahamas. That's Rabel. And she says, "Amen, my brother." I don't know what it was you were saying, but there were lots of comments. I need to go and find them. Give me a moment. There's going to be a little sound feedback. Just give me a minute. Shell's had big comments to say, and I'm just trying to get there. We don't want to miss our audience. You mean so much to us, guys, and you guys already know that. You're a big part of our,
You know?
So
So
okay, here we go. So
there
y'all
are
know you're
so
gonna get
many.
feedback.
Hi, Miss Joan from New
Oh,
York.
it's from a song. It's from a song, Marley.
I'm trying to get back to it, but it won't go back. Oh man. Okay, let me see if I can get there. Let's see.
I was like,
There's so many
there's a
beautiful
more comment.
comments.
Somebody says,
Okay, there we go. I got it. All right, so Shell says 20 older years, that's a man almost needing a peacemaker. A pacemaker?
oh,
Pacemaker?
that would
Maybe
make
a pacemaker. And then she says the cutoff, Ravel says the cutoff age for our age, no more than 6 years younger for her. Then Shell says, healing of the heart is the first thing to do. No baggage is needed. The past can hinder the relationship. Do this, then date. Amen. I love that, Shells. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the question is, how do you handle a man or woman divorced in the faith with a few children?
That question is coming up. So that's go ahead and answer it now because it's coming up. So that was one of them.
It's a song. It's a song.
It is a song.
It's a song. Thank you for commenting.
Alex, you can answer that one. How do you?
Yeah. The question was, how do you deal with a mate, somebody that you may think of marrying who has children from a previous marriage or relationship? Because the person may not necessarily have been married, but they may have children.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Well, for me, I mean, I've been in church a number of years, and I've had quite a few divorcees or separated men from their wives approach me who have children. First and foremost, and this may be a generalization, but I find men in church who have been divorced tend not to go, they haven't processed their divorce. And they don't go through the necessary steps to address why the divorce happened. They don't seek counseling. They really don't do the work. So for me, I would avoid a man who has been divorced. And then for me, again, the biblical grounds for your divorce? Do you have the right to get married again? Have you done the work? Have you processed? Because that in itself, I mean, your wife, your ex-wife, your children are going to come with their own emotions. They're going to come with their own trauma. A caveat that I take from that is that most men that I've sat and spoken to who have been married and divorced, when I've had heart-to-heart conversations with them, they said that they knew from the outset that they should have never have married their wives, even standing at the altar. So you've got a lot of that to process, much less the idea of you are now divorced. And I've found that some men, they want to get married quite quickly, or speaking of having another relationship, maybe like 18 months, 2 years after being divorced. I don't know, for me personally, I mean, I've never been married and divorced. I don't know if that's enough time for someone to process. You've gone through the legality elements of it, you know, splitting up your assets, then thinking about how you're going to co-parent. And then now you want to get into a relationship, and I have my own children, and then we're going to muddle through that. I don't think that's something that I personally would be willing to undertake, and the other stipulation that I had when I spoke to someone is that I co-parent with someone, and we've known each other for 20 something years. So when we've co-parented and then that person moved on to another relationship, I was able to build a relationship with his new partner that he went on to have a child with. So we had always made the agreement that we would parent as a unit. So if I'm not able to sit and talk to your ex-wife and get the full gist of what happened as potentially going into this, I don't want anything to do with it. Because I think there's lots of work that needs to be done. So that I probably would avoid a man who's been married and divorced.
That is powerful. I love what you're saying. Some powerful comments that you're making. And I was quickly looking for the percentage. 60% of second marriages end in divorce. So this does 60%.
That's high. That's high. Hold on. So what about this? Hold on. What's the percentage of third and fourth marriages?
Well, that goes up. You know what, Marlene? That goes up. It goes up to like 70, 80%. Yeah. And most, I mean, I can only go for experiences, but most women are the ones that are filing for divorce. So yeah, because you know, you've come to the end of your road, you've come to the end of your tether, and you just don't want to work it out anymore. And so yeah, I mean, you know, when you're going into it the second time, and then imagine now if you're both divorcees, you know, what you're both bringing to the table. It's about doing the work before you think about marrying someone else or remarriage as two divorcees again. We have to do that.
You said 18 months though. I many get married way before 18 months. So that's powerful though. 18 months. That sounds long to me.
Hold on. You're saying that her waiting 18 months is too long?
No, the man. No, she's saying that the men should at least before they remarry 18 months to process. And she's saying that is too short even. But there are a lot of men who would want to jump into another relationship.
Of course.
Immediately, like 6 months later. So
for marriage or for a relationship, for a fling, what do you think?
Maybe they're having flings then.
Okay, I'm just saying. Because I mean, most men, let's ask the guy in our group. Let's ask Craig. Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
We have a guy here. I'd like no. I want to know, what do you think? Do you think men, as they are getting this divorce, do you think they want to just jump into another relationship?
Well, I'll tell you my own experience, and I'll tell you what I think. There was, when I got divorced, I kind of, you know, did my own thing. And one of the things that Alexia mentioned about work is what I think she's referring to as, you know, understanding yourself. There was a book that I had read called Dating a Divorced Man. And I wanted to get the female perspective about who I was, falling into line of whichever characteristic that the divorced man had. And, you know, there's a divorced man that is sad because he's divorced and feels he never should have done it. And they're different types of divorced men. And what it helped me to understand was just where I fell in line to that. And it gave me a little more insight about myself. And then when I approach it, it's a little bit different. I don't have any leftover regret. I don't have any leftover guilt. I don't have anything like that weighing on me. You know, there are things that come up, but nothing that will prevent me from being solely with the person that I'm with. But the time frame it's a little tough. It's a little tough. I think a lot of people after divorce, especially if this is someone, maybe they were high school sweethearts, they've never really experienced anything else. And especially if they were in a relationship that wasn't good for them, where they weren't able to flourish and grow. You know, it's like that spring that you hold, you know, that's the marriage. And then all of a sudden the spring is broken and you just listen, you go wild, crazy, and you do things and you experience things. And I think though that is a part of the process, if you will, to come back to me. Come back to the middle. But yeah, the time for meaningful relationship may come sometime after. So in that way, you know, Alexia may be quite correct, but for the time for the healing part of dealing with the situation may take a different turn, and different people come to that realization. You know, it may take a long time. It may not be just 18 months. It may be years before they can actually get themselves to a position, into a frame of mind that they can have and start a new relationship with someone with all that left behind.
So Craig, what I'm hearing from you, this is for the ladies, is better not to be involved with a man after he's shortly been divorced, because guess what? He might be on the rebound. He might still be, you know, thinking about his wife and just not going wild, like he said, they're going wild. So
it depends. It depends. I would say that if you get a chance to find that book, I guess, I think it was insightful because it gave you indicators that you can use, real life that you can see and touch and feel as you have a conversation, and even as you start a conversation, to help see where he is in his mind with that divorce. Because it could be a relief. Maybe he was the one being abused and it was just a bad situation for him. He was constantly being put down, and so now he is in a mode where he's looking for someone, and while he is healing. And then you can understand your role in that as well. So if you're going to take that upon yourself to date someone who is divorced, then at least you know how best you can support him and help him to move forward.
But think about if you're in a relationship with that person and he doesn't really love you, you're just that support.
Yes.
And you're being used.
And I agree with you on that, Michelle. You become that emotional crutch or that bridge for that person to be able now to get to the next point in their life. And God forbid if you're having sex and then you go and get pregnant, and then now you feel, you've got this tie with this person who you was just in a relationship with, or you met and you were dating, and he was still processing and he was still dealing with his trauma, and then one thing led to another, as adults can, whether you're Christians or not, and then a child comes as a consequence of that situation. That then just doubles and adds to the unnecessariness of it all. So just from experience, speaking to someone who was married for 20 years, and he had, I think, a very turbulent marriage, divorced, and then he was speaking about dating, and I think he'd only been divorced about 12 months. I just listened and I said, brother, if I was you, it's one thing to think about, I'm lonely and I think I want someone, but I think you need to take some more time to cultivate understanding yourself as a single man, with responsibilities, a single man now understanding yourself, you know, at the halfway point of being a century and a half years of age, as opposed to when you married the person and you were young, and you know, you're in a different stage of your life. And so to quickly cleave yourself to somebody else might be very detrimental, not only to you, but also to them. And so I just think it takes a process. And I understand that men, let me not generalize, but I will say this. I understand that men like to have someone. I get that, you know, and they flourish when they have a good woman, but sometimes it can be at the expense of that good woman. And so I think we just have to do due diligence and just take our time and process.
All right, want to take a comment from the audience on that, Michelle?
Yeah, and then I still have a question for Craig before we go on.
Okay, most guys are definitely stimulated by what they see, but especially when you are dating in our age group. I don't know what age group that is. You can kind of give us a highlight. Sorry. You want someone who is settled, knows what they want, but it's also a rider. One who has your back through thick and thin, and vice versa. Men, once we go through their issues, we can definitely move on. Once men can accept their issues and own it and process, they are ready to move on. However, as a male, you must accept your issues and work on them. As Craig states, you deal with yours. That is why it's important, they said, to become friends. Learn about each other, wants and needs, what each other needs and desires for each other. I don't know if that was a question. What each other
That
needs.
is why it's your statement. That is why it's important. Yeah. Become friends first.
And then on Facebook, hold on.
Get to know each other.
Ravel said, Shell said, relationship with a divorce? I don't think so, looking at it biblically. And then Ravel says, intimacy. Intimacy is lacking in marriage and dating, not speaking about sex, talking about intimacy. She says also, courting is non-existent these days. Shell says, I feel men need to take longer without pressure from a woman. Because, you know, when they come out of this divorce, that woman's ready to get married. You're now single. Let's do this. You know, to me, men lose more homes, their kids, and most times they basically have to start all over again. Most of them win concerning the court system. This is Shell, thank you so much. And then Ravel said money is a big issue as well in all relationships. Finances. That is why I feel each individual needs to achieve personal goals first. This is valuable. So when they come together, they can be a success. Thank you guys for commenting. We appreciate it so much. Beautiful comments. Hi, Ruthlin. Good evening. How are you? She says, excellent topic. Someone sending love. We love you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know that Alexia just mentioned that usually it's the women who first, most of the time it's the women that file for the divorce. Was that in your case, Craig?
In my case, similar, yes. But it was something that was mutually agreed upon, and it was done fairly without any issues.
No drama.
Yeah.
Alexia.
It was kind of consensual.
Next question.
Yeah.
So
I think she's frozen.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Am I frozen?
Yeah, you have a very good look on your face. You look very at least you're not,
at least your voice is frozen.
At least I ain't got no stink face. Yeah. You don't mind me being frozen, Marlene, or do you want me to?
It's fine. You look beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you, darling.
Okay. So, Alexia, so you're courting a young man, and how long would you be willing to court for before he proposes to you? How many years? How many months? How many years? And if it's going on for 5, 10 years, are you willing to stay in the relationship for that long? Let us know more about that.
So if it was 10 years, I'll be 54. So that, you know, yeah, I mean, that's just, you know, that's a decade. That's what young people do when they got time on their side. That's what you do when you've got youth on your side. That's at this juncture in my life. I'm on the cusp of being at the halfway point of my life. I don't really have that kind of time to waste. So even 5 years is too long. I am now at the point where I'm very transparent and I'm very upfront. And not to the point of being brutish, but I just say, this is what it is. If I meet a man, I guess it's like for like. When men meet me, they catch my vibe and my energy. So I could meet someone casually, informally, as I have done recently, and they would just start to disclose things about their life, and you know, we just get into it, like having a proper conversation. So I don't think at this juncture in my life, I think I'm going to find it hard to say, well, this is what Alexia expects. What do you want? And if it's not meshing, let's not waste each other's time. So for me, if I'm going to meet someone and he is sound in everything that I said that I was looking for in the beginning, then it could be from anything from 12 months to a year and a half. I don't really want to go over 2 years, because the reality is I'm not going to really know who you are until I live with you. And neither are you really going to know who I am until we are living underneath the same roof. I can give you the best impersonation of myself, but the reality is you're going to see all the little nuances in my personality and in my character when we are living together. But I'm very much into communication and being upfront and being very frank. And so if that's not going to bode well with a man, then he can tell me, you know what, sis, you know what, sweetheart, this ain't going to work. And to be honest, I'm not going to be, you know, brokenhearted and feel sad and be like a bunny boiler and be trying to mash up a man's car and them kind of things there, you know what I mean? But I would take it on the chin, because actually and I'll be saying stuff like, well, don't waste your time then, you know, go and do what you have to do. Spend some time with yourself and lock and load and go back out there, my friend, you know, and find what you're looking for. I'm not it, and that's cool, you know. Maybe that I have to sit down for the next 5 years until Boaz finds me, and that's not a problem. So for me, it's 18 months, 2 years. If after 2 years you're not really saying, what are you saying, my lady, shall we get married? Then you know, I mean,
2 years is too long.
No, but Marlene, I've got a young lady in my house who's going to be 12. So I'm not really going to be looking to say, you know, I've got to really scan. I've got to be praying, fasting, discerning. Yeah. And I'm a type of person as well. As part of my work, I'm very observant and analytical. So there's lots of things that other people might miss, but I will, because I'm into studying behavior. So
I dare to say I wouldn't even have them. For me, if I had a 12-year-old, a female, I probably wouldn't even. I'd probably wait. That's just me. But
I'm
afraid to bring a man into the home, and you don't know. You just don't know.
No, but you
just don't know. You know.
But that's true. But then I could wait 5 years. I could wait 10 years. I still would have 2 young ladies who are very attractive who are going to be in my house. So it's about being able.
Yeah, but more than likely they're going to be gone to college or whatever.
No, I don't think my children are going anywhere. I think they want to stay right up underneath me and be living in my house they like my reasoning. So I don't think they're going anywhere. I mean, I have a house full of teenagers at the best of times from my daughter's friends. So I mean, for me, it's about discerning. And if I get a full picture of who you are, who your people are, and I'm being prayerful. And also, if I pick up on things from the outset, I'm a type of person, right? Okay, I've observed certain things. I don't think this is for me, and I will cut out. And that's just the way. I'm not going to be hanging around trying to make it work, trying to bend you and mold you and shape you. That's who you are. You're not for me, but there's definitely another sister down the road who is for you. I'm good. So that's me.
I agree.
I love that. Yeah. That's it. Craig, the same question. How long would you be willing to pop the proposal? Wait, you know?
Well, it depends on situations, of course. Like for me, the dating process, based on my experience, leading to courtship, leading to marriage, had been someone who I was friends with for a long time, and it got to a point where it was, hey, you want to? And you want to? Sure. We just got together, and then the courtship lasted probably about a year, if that long, with the marriage coming soon after. So yeah, I mean, long courtships. I don't, if that's the mindset that you have courtship wise, going a long courtship is not necessarily the best idea, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Me too.
Thank you.
Someone says they agree. They agree. You want to take this comment from the audience before we move on?
Yes, take the comments.
Okay. I think it's still Alex. He says Caribbean males are taught at an early age we deal with our issues, but at the same time, you must be able to move forward, accepting your issues and dealing with them. But at the same time, you are open to learning and supporting each other. Communication, compromise, and respect. I love it. Beautiful. Hold on. Maysoon says, I guess, Michelle, that happens when you reach a level of self-understanding and reconciliation and self-love where you don't consider rejection as an insult. Yeah. And Alex agreed. He says, I was thinking that's what first came to mind. I think he was talking about Alexia's point on having I said, I would wait. I think he was just saying he agrees. And then Alexia is on point. You learn, you watch, you communicate, and with God's help, you move forward. Love it. I love it.
I like that point as well, Alexis. Yeah. What I found with female friends that I have, they have an inclination and they don't listen to themselves. And my own opinion is that there are a few times when you should wait to see if exactly what you thought or saw is what it is. If you're on your cycle and your hormones are off, if you're going through a change of life and your hormones are off, if you're pregnant and your hormones are off, because you need to make sure that what you're feeling, that sensitivity, that emotional barometer, if you will, that's women's sixth sense. It's on point most of the time, except during those 3 times it can be a little wonky. But if you feel the temperature, if the barometer changes, if the pressure's off, pause, listen, and slow down.
Yep.
Slow down.
I agree.
Me too.
I agree. Most definitely.
Okay.
It's called intuition, eh?
Intuition.
Yeah, that's what they call it. They call it.
Yeah, and we should ask for the spirit of discernment too.
Yeah.
And when you're discerning something and you feel let me tell you something. Let's be real here. These women are so desperate. They feel it. They see it, Craig, and they still
it's reconciling the need to have someone and wanting someone versus what is good for you.
Yep.
And you kind of you take the chance and you say, well, maybe. But then again, like Alexia said, there's somebody down the street that could better for you than me.
You understand?
I don't want to deal with that.
Keep stepping. Keep moving.
Strong woman right there. You have
to be real. You have to listen. If it means I'm gonna be by myself and my children are safe, for my girls especially, look here, let them be by themselves. I'll be by myself. You have to be careful because we don't ever know. We just don't. Yeah. Like in the Bahamas, Craig and Alexia, it's a small country. I can make one phone call and I can know everything about you in one phone call. Literally. But you're going to a place like the Big Apple, who are you calling? London, England, who am I going to call? Unless that person's from the church. And even then, no. I know too many horror stories. Too many. just too many of them. So step. If you have that spirit, somebody says, Craig says is on target. You have that. You have to follow your sixth sense. You know, follow.
Yeah.
You know,
That
follow. Hi,
is-
Shakira. Hola, hola, hola.
Hola. Hola.
Yeah, there are lots of beautiful comments on Facebook. We can go over there later on if you want us to. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, time. We can go on and then the next. So I'll ask the next question, the answer, then comment.
Okay, because there's some questions on Facebook coming
Oh,
in.
questions too. Oh, wow.
Yes, there are questions. So you let me
All right.
know when you want me to go.
All right, let me do this one.
Sure.
This one is really good. Alexia, you meet a Christian guy and he says he doesn't have a full-time job. And he is in ministry though. However, he's in ministry.
Okay.
And he depends on donations. Would you marry him?
No.
Not
I'm answering.
Wait.
The question is for Alexia.
No, I just had to say it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm teasing. I'm really just a teaser here. No. Craig is laughing. Craig, I'm sorry. I'm just like, no.
Oh, Alexia, we want to hear Alexia.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should say that though, because there was a pastor who came to our church. Maybe he was a trainee pastor, and he came about 5 years ago, and he could have been in his late 40s, very early 50s when he came. So he was on a stipend, so he didn't have an income. Yeah, he was just getting his little change from the church. He then completed the MA in theology, and that was at the turn of the lockdown. He got a job and then he got a church. So, and he just got married about 2 weeks ago to a young lady. So I'm not gonna say no, because I could. No, Marlene. Give me hold on now. I'm a woman of faith. You hear?
No. I don't think that's what Michelle's talking about. We're not.
Are you no, but it's a similar sort of thing because all right, he was getting a donation from the church, as in the stipend. So I mean, are you talking about him getting donations from people outside the church, Michelle?
Outside, yes.
Yeah.
So it's like an independent ministry that this guy's running, and he's getting his £1,000 or his $1,000 a month from donations.
Yeah.
But it varies. It comes and it goes. It depends on.
It comes and goes. Well, I would have to be his friend, and I would have to be I would pray for you, and I would encourage you, and you do your thing. And when you think, hold on now, Miss McKinney. And when you think that you are at a point where you are ready to be an Adam and you can till the ground and you got yourself together, then depending on where I am in my life and the Lord permits us to be married, then bruh, I'll marry you and help you with your ministry. But until you are in a position financially to provide for a household, me and my 2 children are part of that household, my dear brother, continue on your pilgrimage to becoming a full-time minister. Amen.
Thank you. Next question.
Craig, Craig got to talk. Craig got to
Me? I have nothing to say. What do
Let's see his question. The question I have for Craig is: you met a young lady, and she's unemployed, and tells you she prefers to be a stay-at-home mom, and that she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and supports you. Would you be willing to marry her and be the sole provider?
It's a very good question. There are circumstances around that I would think would come into play. It's not. It could be a yes or no. But for me, I think about things in a logical way. Is that something that I would find attractive in a person? It's very hard pressed to say. It is a very hard job, if you will, to be a parent, to be a single parent, and it has its own challenges. I don't know if it's something that I would walk into without any depth of relationship. it would not be something that I would look at first. So I think building up an appreciation for each other individually first would come into play before that comes out. Because if that comes out within our second date, then that's you've already crossed your name off the list.
Okay.
It's too much to come with at first. Let's figure out where things are, and then kind of go from there.
Love it. I mean, I love your answer. I love it. You need to get to know the person. It's an individual case.
Mhm.
And getting to know the person, you will see, is this something I want? Would it be able to work in my life? Depending on even the type of person too.
Yeah.
Are they a gold digger? If they're and that's what they intend, just for you to do all the work and they do nothing. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but sometimes you may need that person to hold things down at home so that you can do things out to bring, income in. But again, everything it all depends on your own tolerances. What can you bear? Really bear? Not ideally, oh, this is, but really, like, what can you deal with? What can you handle? What's coming at you? This is the reality. Are you able to handle this?
I love it. Love your answer. Love it. Love it.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. For the stability of the home, it can be the ideal situation too.
Yeah.
And the marriage and the family. She's there holding down the fort while you go out to work. So yes.
I have a question, based on the children thing. You're both young enough to continue having. You're still childbearing age. Are you willing to have more children if you marry someone? I don't know if Michelle asked that already.
That was my next question.
Oh, it's your next question. Because you marry someone that wants more children.
What would you do?
Are you open to that? And that's for both of you.
Both of you.
Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I'm not looking to necessarily have any more. I didn't want any, and so I'm very good where I am now. Not. I mean, if that's something that my partner wants, I could acquiesce to that. But there's not a pressing need. It's like, oh no, I need to, I want to, I have to.
Right.
I have, so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that same novelty, if you will.
Alexia.
Well, honestly, I'm closer to being a grandmother. So, I mean, I personally don't particularly want to go through having a third pregnancy in my late 40s with all that comes with the risks, and then dedicating myself again for another 18 years to raising another child up into my 60s. So that for me is no. I wouldn't want to have another child now.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot.
But would you marry somebody that has young children, younger than yours?
But maybe. I mean, again, it would require me mothering, which I don't mind. I work with children. I love children very much. But again, it's all about. That's one that I'd have to be prayerful about it. I'd have to really sit and consider, not just the impact on me, but also on my other two daughters as well. Standing in the gap to be older sisters again and putting their hands to the plow to help with younger siblings. So, that would have to be like a family discussion, a family conversation. I wouldn't just make I wouldn't make that decision in silo. It would have to be something I'd have to discuss with my children and having that discussion with the person who is potentially interested in me.
Nice, very good.
Nice. Well, Marlene, if you want to take the questions from the audience, because
Okay, let me go and find them. Tell me you had a question earlier. She doesn't remember.
Beautiful discussion.
Alex, we want to just say thank you for joining us, Alexander Brown. I grew up with him here in the Bahamas, and he's saying we went to college with him, Michelle.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yes. He says that Alexia is a Black woman speaking Christian or not. You must be ready in all areas. And friendship is first. Friendship first, sorry. Friendship first. The key is learning each other's both wants, needs, and desires. I love that. You must
Yes.
know. Yeah, that's very big. That's important. Shell said she agreed with you, Alexia, that she would wait. She waited also because of her children. I guess she was talking to me too, because I don't want too many men being introduced to my children. Men don't want to wait until marriage for sex. It's sad. Do we want to go there today?
I had it on my question.
We can go there, and then
I dropped that one. Like.
well, I do have another question, but let's go there, and then I'll take the other question. Let's go there.
Okay, so let me look at how I phrased it.
Oh,
Let me see. I mean, I actually just wrote.
what happens when you accept a person and you are the sole provider, but because of work you are never home? You are a person that ensures home is. Whew. Yeah. So
That's
what
a good
happens?
question.
Yeah.
You're never home, and you are a person that ensures home is good.
Mhm.
So
It's not good.
I don't answer the question. I don't understand it. What happens when you accept this person and you
I
are
guess
the
because we asked Craig, would he be the sole provider? And I guess being that he's now the sole provider means that he may have to work doubly hard to provide for his family. Because
Yeah,
I
but
guess
it again, it depends, because if I have the type of work that allows me to do that, then it's not an imposition. I mean, if I'm continuing to do this and I can have plenty, it's not for everybody. It is
Yeah.
not for everybody.
everybody.
You know, so you weigh it out. You know,
Yeah.
what's your cost of living like? Are you able to provide? Do you make enough to provide, or will you have to get more than one job? There's a lot of thought involved. So, you know, you can ideally, most people don't want that, but there are circumstances that may allow for it if
I
that's
mean,
your desire.
Marlene and I both did it. We both stayed home. I know it's the flip side. I mean, for me, it worked out phenomenal too. And Marlene raised our beautiful children. We were able to adjust because it was the rearing of the children. For us, the emphasis was rearing our children, giving them that Christian foundation. And we were able to, we weren't the type that needed our nails getting done.
I don't.
We sacrificed and we worked with our husbands. And then we developed our business while we were doing it. So we were there developing our business. It gave us, actually, to me, it worked out good because it gave me the time and Marlene the time to master our crafts. What we love to do, apart from raising our family, we both love to cook. And Marlene end up with a restaurant, and I end up online with an online business. And my business is multiple six figures now. So in the end, don't you think my husband now is so happy that he had to stay home? It's like the best decision ever that we could have made for our family and the future of our family. So it can work,
Yeah.
you know,
It
but
can.
it's
It
an
can.
individual thing, and it's the couple working together. So yeah.
It can. It can work. It definitely can. And then you think of the long term where your children are more stable, hopefully, and you know.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go over to Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Unless Craig or Alexia has something to share, and then I can just ask the questions later from Facebook before we go there. Ravel says, very interesting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Very.
Alexia, would you date a guy? This is coming from Facebook. Alexia, would you date a guy with two children like yourself and help with his children as well? But I think I asked that question already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was so if that person wants an answer,
Yeah?
yes, I would, because I have children myself. So yes.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. If you date 1 to 2 years or 6 months to a year, you never fully know each other. It's a learning process. But if you find someone who loves and fear God, this will be the catalyst to growing together and weather any storm. And yes, you must have discernment and divine intuition in every relationship and seek for the Holy Spirit's guidance. So, if God has called someone to ministry, that's totally dependent on him or for sustenance, living by faith in God alone. You're telling me that person, hold on, I'm sorry. You're telling me that person is probably going to stay single because you have no faith that God is able to take care of your needs?
Alexia.
Is that a question or is that a statement? I mean, you know,
Yes.
it's like
It's both.
the question. We're told, "Be not wise in your own eyes, fear the Lord and depart from evil." I mean, if you know that the person is not financially stable, and we know that money and finances is an issue, it's not that I've dissed the brother because he's not in a financial place. I'm very pragmatic. So I would be having a conversation. I'm not going to railroad you and say, I'm not an American. So I know how African American women can come across. I'm a Black British woman, as I think it's Alexandra or Alex, whoever I'll come back to him in a little while.
That's actually your dearest sister. That's Miss Gaffy.
I mean, I'm not gonna relegate someone, but at the same instance, we have to have a conversation, and you have to kind of think about the responsibilities of being a father if you haven't necessarily had your own biological children, taking on the responsibility of a household, thinking about maybe the financial pressure that's going to place on me, on my children. I don't only work; I work from home. I'm a homeschooler, so I pay for curriculums. I run a small business, so I mean, you've got to kind of take all those things into consideration, and it's about having a discussion. I'm not gonna throw a man underneath the bus because he's not in a financial position, but we've got to have a discussion about it. And then that's then when you talk about the plans and you pray about the plans, and we can still be friends. If you still have an interest, I have an interest, let me support you to go to that next level, but I'm not just going to jump into it because I'm of a certain age and I've got children, I've got responsibilities.
So what if we put out that the man can be a tent maker as Paul? He can do a steady, even if it's a small income while he does ministry as well. Just if he believes he's ready for marriage. Apart from that, possibly he's just not ready to get married yet.
But you said originally that he would be doing ministry and he would be living off of donations.
I know.
If he had a side hustle wherever tent making or whatever thing he's doing, and he's able to glean a 500, a 600, but then that's something. Then you're adding that to your donation. That's different. I mean, that's different.
I'm bringing that in now. I'm bringing that in the picture. Say, what if then?
Okay. She says, God has asked me to leave very lucrative job for 18 years ago to do ministry for him. And he was very insistent about it. And in the last 18 years, I've never gone begging or even my wants he allows. It's about priority and what our outlook is as a Christian. Are we preparing for this life or the life to come? That's the last question we'll take right now. That comes from Kefi in Texas.
That's a good statement. Yeah, we've
I
done.
think it's, thing is, I think it's an individual case. I'm thinking of people who've probably approached me, and I'm very cautious about that because I see sometimes I think for sometimes I see it as a man. The Bible says if a man doesn't work, he is worse than an infidel.
An infidel, yeah.
He's
So
just not
if
ready.
you're
You should get married.
you have to work. I'm sorry. You have to work. That comes with the territory. If I'm working, you have to work. I've seen too many women being taken advantage of by men who choose to sit up in bed watching TV saying they're in ministry.
Lord have mercy. Jesus have mercy.
I'm sorry.
Or they go lock themselves in a room and there's Bible study all day long.
All day long.
Mercy.
The mother
So I'm just saying, for me,
and they're
I'm just being cautious.
and they lock the door and they're like, the kids, leave me alone. I'm
in ministry. I've been in ministry for 23 years.
The mom's stressed out.
Yeah.
So these are reality too, that there's gotta be a balance
Yeah.
And
I think it's an individual case.
it's an individual
Case. We have our comment. We'll take this last comment, and then we can let you guys have your final word. You know, I thought it was an excellent show today, or program. I don't want to call it a show because it's not a show. It says, "Good question, good answer, Craig. I work in social services and run special need group homes. Wow, nice. Homeless shelters, etc. And I am on call 24/7, but have paid a price for not always being around. Always ensured home and my family was good. But my partners who knew my work, hold on. But my partners, I'm sorry, I had to tilt the camera. But my partners who knew my work and work ethic changed in the middle of the game. I'm sorry. So now I think twice. I believe in holding the person down, but I have found communication, compromise, and respect is key. But women in our age group change, and you are always left wondering. And I think there's another part to that. I have to go to Facebook. Let's see if I can find it right quick.
That's powerful.
Hold on. He says, but when you accept this person and you are a sole provider, but because of your work, you are no. I'm trying to find the rest of that comment. Oh, there we go. He says, but compromise and respect is key, but women in our age group change, and you are always left wondering. But through faith and hard work, many things are possible. That's beautiful.
That's true.
Man.
Sherry, how you doing, my darling? Good evening. Sherry says, my husband and I dated 1 year, and I don't see the rest of that comment. Hopefully it'll come before we end.
Yes.
I think there's a question coming. I don't know. Sherry, you want to give us, bring us up to speed. But meanwhile, we can let our guests, we're so happy that you guys joined us today. If you'd like to join us again next week, we'd be happy to have you guys. I'm talking to Craig and I'm talking to Alexia. And we don't want to keep too much over the time. Craig just
Well, let's see.
laughing.
How many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
Michelle's 4,000 plus. Mine is almost 2,000, I think, around there. Mm-hmm.
Why?
All right. If we can get you to if we can get 1,000 extra followers, then maybe I'll come back.
I can do that overnight. You really want to go there? I can do that. I can do that. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this challenge. Okay, you heard him right, guys. You heard him.
Yeah.
You heard it live. I got two people here, one sleeping and one awake. One sleeping. And you said 1,000 more, and he's coming back. So let's see how soon we have you back, Craig.
Yes.
I love that. Nothing but a challenge. Love it.
I love
There
it.
you go.
Love it. This is great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Facebook. I'm trying to see who it is. Oh, Alexander. He says, love it. It's great. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Alex. That was awesome of you to join us. Do remember, you can join us every week. At this time, we have a program called It's Dating 101. You're over 40, you're allowed to be on our platform. You can be younger. I'm just teasing. He says, my guys in my group home are listening. Oh, and believe it or not asking me any questions. Oh.
Why? Ask some questions. We're willing to answer. They can send their questions.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching, guys, at the group home. What's the age range of your guys in your group home? This is beautiful. So you see, Craig, guess what? From one camera, Alex's, he probably has hundreds. Hello.
There you go. Listen.
Got you. All right, let's see if there are any other comments over here on Facebook. Sorry about that. I'm trying to see who it is. Oh, Alexander.
Oh.
He says, love it. It's great.
Okay.
All right, let's see if there are any other comments. I'm sorry. Okay, so Shell says, Marlene, men need to work, honey. Hello. Shell, I agree with you, baby girl. There is no argument here. But a question to Craig, even though I think she's just coming in. Miss Keffy says, are you married or single? Oh, no. Hold on. The question says, why are you single? Have mercy, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Why are you both? What would you say, both of you, really?
I'm not single.
Don't go there then. We won't go there. So Craig is not single. What about Alexia? Why are you? What would you say the reason why you're still single?
It's just not the season and the time for me to get married. It just hasn't been ordained, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not gonna run ahead of God and just try and sort it out myself. So I'm just prepared to sit and be still. So that's why.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's the best. Wait, Marley, you were sharing with me quotes about being patient. You know, that was waiting on God is the best. Never run ahead.
Never
Run ahead. So
running ahead always gets us in trouble. Always. So we're just gonna be patient and wait on the Lord, and while we are waiting, be of good courage.
Amen. Go on, my sister.
Craig is laughing. He says he'll strengthen us, Craig, let me tell you something. Man, listen, out here is crazy because it's crazy. It's crazy. That's all I will say.
I believe you. I believe you. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. I do like Alexia's approach. It's hard, but I think it has to be hard just based on how she sees things and how she understands things. And I think when she finds that person, it's solid because they have to be.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Craig. It's funny you should say that because I get a lot of men approach me, but the reality is that they're not in. It's not aligned. It's just not. It's not what God wants, and so I'm just really upfront. Like, I'm nearly 6 foot. I'm in good shape for a woman my age. I pull myself together. I got with my eldest daughter. We could pass for sisters, even though I've got my grey hair. But I once you get past the beauty, and I'm jovial, I'm jokey, I'm upfront, I'm pretty open. But I have to tell these guys that, look, sweetheart, you're a nice guy, and I'm not rejecting you, and I don't want to be rude and disrespectful. But we're not on the same page, and it's not the right time. And so, as I said before, there may be another lovely queen waiting for you in the wings, but I'm just not it. But if you think I'm it, and you wanna kind of hang around and do your thing. And if you come back to me and holler at me, and it's God gives me the green light, then maybe. But it's I'm just good going along. I'm very content. Very content.
Love it.
Alex said they are asking him questions, and the age range is 22 to 38. They are asking questions. Well, I think it was a time well spent.
So they are asking. So, okay. But did we answer their questions?
I don't know. Alex, did we answer their questions? Do they have a final one before because I don't want to keep anybody else too much longer. Yeah. So, Craig, you are coming back. The ladies need you. Hello. That's not Hold on. It wasn't me that said it. I'm reading from Facebook. It was Shells. Shells is coming back because the ladies need you. So, it wasn't me. She said, yeah. She said, I almost going to copy and paste it. She says, you're coming back.
Yes, yeah, okay. Their questions were answered, Marley.
Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Beautiful. Very good. Thank you so much for participating today in our program. And I'm talking to the audience, and then we just can talk to Alexia and Craig. I don't know if they have any final words they'd like to share before we give our final thank yous. So mind my music. I'm going to start playing, and then we can share. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you for encouraging me to come. I was a little apprehensive. I'm not the in-your-face type of person, but I thought the discussion was very fruitful. It was very informative, and it's nice to have this type of forum where it's real people dealing with real issues and, just trying to address it as best we can.
Yeah.
So this was fun.
Thank you. Oh, praise the Lord. That's awesome. So I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Hey, wink, wink.
I-
Maybe that's what. Yeah.
It's a little tough, you know, in New York City at around this time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is definitely fun.
Alexia, do you have a final word? We didn't hear from Alexia.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me. I hope I wasn't too controversial. I hope I wasn't too confusing. I hope that people glean something from it, and I hope everyone is blessed. And it was lovely to have Craig as my Cody, my ride or die during the show.
Woohoo! Yeah, it was an awesome awesome tonight. Awesome
was
this
fun.
evening. A great way to spend a Saturday evening. No better time than to spend it here with us. Someone says, Craig, you are a lot like myself. You did great, my brother. See you guys next week. I imagine that's Alex. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Somebody saying great discussion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finding love after 40 may be difficult, but it is doable. Maybe you'll find it on our platform, but the only way you're going to know is if you're here next week to see who that person may be. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're autism. Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Michelle, anything else?
Beautiful. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have fun, guys. You guys don't go anywhere. We're just going to say bye to our audience. Thank you
Yes.
for joining us. God bless you. Have a great week. Don't forget, we're back on Monday.
Monday.
Oh,
Next show.
Monday.
Shows.
You don't want to miss. Listen, Monday is powerful. We have an atheist turned Christian living all the way in Australia. He's joining us live on our platform.
Singapore.
Singapore on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be looking for you. And then Tuesday, Michelle and I are doing a cooking show live at 2 o'clock here on the same platform. So remember, subscribe, like, share, and comment so we get those 1,000 more persons so that Craig will come back in our next week's program. I know for me, we love you guys so much.